Guru Nation, happy Monday. Happy Thanksgiving week to each and every one of you guys and gals. Um, the pace of activity in the industry is incredible. The innovation happening is incredible. When you combine COVID, when you put COVID, layer COVID on top of this, we have like just this perfect storm of opportunity for those who want it. What do I mean by those who want it? Want to get in the industry, obviously, is one. Want to advance their career in the industry, that's number two. There's it's just AQST. Thank you, Chris. Chris McGinnis. First of all, I love Guinness. Let's turn off this light. This camera not supporting this light well. Uh, I'm trying to get the CEO on the show for Aquestive Therapeutics. But man, we had back to back to back Zoom calls and phone calls today. And it just further reinforces the enormous amount of opportunity. But it's not just going to be given to you. Somebody is going to, there's going to be people who take advantage of it and are able to elevate their careers. And there's people that are going to fall victim to it. Because one of the things that's going to happen is slowly we'll get increased efficiencies with technologies. And a lot of people who did not learn to be generalists are going to get in trouble. Right? Hi, good evening, Sabri. How's it going? So first of all, let's just start. Let's focus on just the positives during this live stream. It's Monday before Thanksgiving. I don't want to get negative. I'm going to focus just on the positives. So I want you guys and gals to tell me right now where you're watching from, what you're drinking. I got an iced water today, but I had 2 cups of maca infused coffee, and I'm feeling like I'm on one, guys. I'm on one. These Zoom calls did not get me tired. They just got me started. All right. I've got an SIV coming up in a few weeks for one of my sites. I've got to figure out, along with one of my CRC Academy interns, how to set up the Creo, which is the eSource and eReg. So I might have a Zoom call with my intern, Chloe, later today. Maybe we'll do it. Maybe we'll make a video out of it. Angel from Connecticut, welcome. Thank you so much. New York, Bronx. I love the Bronx. Spent a week in an Airbnb in the Bronx. And one of my business partners, Dr. Anthony Hoffman, lives in the Bronx too. So I'm very familiar with the Bronx. Shared the AQST video too. Man, can you guys, I don't know where this AQST army is coming from. I'm part of you guys for sure. Can somebody get the CEO or somebody on the show? Just somebody help me out there. Monica, who was on all my Zooms today and all my calls. We've got Monica and us at the Clinical Research Circle and Latinos in Clinical Research. We've got so much. We don't even want to announce all of it. It's just too much for you guys. Right? It's too much even for us. It's the opportunities are there. So career development. We've got Brooklyn. Look how many New York City people we've got. What's up, Leslie Ann? We've got Ottawa, Canada. How's it going? Monica's in Irvine, California. There's something to be said about being a generalist. And I did a TikTok the other day, which I needed to start doing more of, where I'm like running. It was like a Halloween TikTok. So I'm running away from this boogie monster in a cornfield. And I talk about how this is me running away from jobs. And this should be you running away from jobs that try to box you in, right? As companies gain efficiencies, employees become more dispensable. Nobody's going to tell you this stuff but me, guys, unless you are not a normal employee. right? If you are a generalist, and there's Ashley Margot, she was on a bunch of the Zoom calls today too. I was telling people, Ashley, I'm not even exhausted after all these Zoom calls. I'm ready for more. Ready for more, but please no more. We need to focus on what we have. Christian says, thanks for the comprehensive guide to clinical research. Absolutely. I actually have to send another book out to somebody, a member of Guru Nation today. David LaHaye with the robot. I know you guys are doing well with the sites. You know as well as I do about career development strategies and clinical research. So there's something to be said about being a generalist. It's not in the company's interest for you to be a generalist. Ironically enough, once you are a generalist, you become invaluable, indispensable to the company. But the company, it goes against their efficiencies to get you to that point. So that means you have to get you to that point, right? And what does that mean? Like, let's actually break it down. Whatever it is that you are doing in your current role, think of it like a coloring book. There's the boundaries, like you can't color outside the lines. So there's the boundaries of your job responsibilities, and you need to stay within those boundaries to do your job effectively. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't look at what's outside those lines either. And if possible, make that or start developing inroads to add that to your skill set as well. So a good example is study coordinator. This is an easy example. Study coordinators. All right. So many coordinators want to be CRAs. That's one angle. So many coordinators want to be site directors. That's another angle. So many coordinators want to be site owners. That's another angle. You can even go data management. That's another angle. And then there's stuff around too, like PM. There's a lot of overlap. This is actually where it gets interesting. So none of those things that I mentioned that this coordinator wants to be is part of this coordinator's job responsibilities. But there are related things. So for example, CRC that wants to be a CRA. What do CRAs do? They do source data review. They do source data verification primarily, right? As well as check regulatory investigator site file compliance and IP accountability and whatnot. You don't need to wait for somebody to tell you as a coordinator to do those things, whether it's on your own study, right? I know you might need permission if it's on a study that's not assigned to you. But if it's on your own study, you can pretend, you can be a coordinator one day, right? And the next day, for maybe an hour, put on a different hat. So if you have another hat, put it on if it helps you get in the right frame of mind. And now be a CRA on your own study. Where did you go wrong? Did you make any mistakes? Did you enter everything properly? Did you file everything properly? What's the IP accountability? Go through it again. What are you doing? You're monitoring your own study now, even if it's for an hour the next day or whenever you have time. You can take it one step further and do this for your colleagues, your coworkers' studies, and maybe encourage them to do it for your study too. It's going to help you out also. I don't know many coordinators. If you tell them, hey, I want to practice being a CRA, can I look through your books before your monitor comes? Just to make sure that number one, I get my skills up, and number two, your books are more prepared for the CRA. I don't know any coworker that's going to say no unless they hate you. So that's one easy example. There's so many of these examples. The initiative needs to be with you. I don't want you to get in trouble and get fired. Don't blame me for it. But generally, you don't need to ask for permission for a lot of these things. All right. You don't need to ask permission to be curious. You don't need to ask permission to, on your own time, want to learn more about something. Another good example is CRA to be CTM, clinical trial manager. I'm interviewing Tiffany Ashton tomorrow on the show. I'm going to ask her I'm going to try to unpack this specific thing. When you were a CRA, because I think she started out as a CRC, then a CRA, then a CTM. So I'm going to ask her, when you were a CRA and you knew you wanted to be a CTM, what did you do? Give me examples, specific examples of when you colored outside the lines so that you could increase your prospects of becoming a CTM quicker. Any other stocks like AQST? Yeah, KMPH. I have a few other ones in my inbox. I was actually going to do one today. AGTC, Applied. SENS is another one. SENS. I have a few. You guys need to subscribe because I'm going to do a biotech one today. But yes, there's a couple, Alan. Absolutely. Cryptomaniac, how's it going? I love crypto. How are we getting the crypto people on the channel? This is awesome. So that's kind of my advice to anybody in a career in research, which is everybody watching or everybody who wants to be in clinical research. Same advice. How do you go from being a specialist to being a generalist? Because yeah, there's nothing wrong with staying a specialist the rest of your career and being being the best specialist in the world at that whatever it is that you do. But you run the risk of technology eventually making that skill set obsolete. So your best defense and the best way to always make yourself indispensable, as well as it's generally correlated with increases in salary, is to learn more and do more than what is asked of you. That's probably the golden rule of career development. And very few people want to do it because very few people are willing to look to be long-term thinkers rather than short-term thinkers. We all do it, myself included, right? Just because I say the things that I know are going to be good doesn't mean I always do it either. Right? I'm a human being just like you guys. WK Santos, hey Dan, I was wondering if it's possible to be a contractor CRA besides your current CRA job, if possible with current job agreement. Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. You have to look through your employment agreement and see if they deter you from doing this. I know some CROs, we've had different people on. Elite Clinical Research was one of them. Elite Research Group. What's the name? ECRG, Elite Clinical Research Group. The other YouTuber who I feature regularly on this channel. He mentioned one of the CROs with an M. I can't remember the name. They have the CRA sign non-competes. Most don't, but so if you're a contract CRA, you can take on as many contracts as you realistically can. If you're a W-2 employee, you got to look at your contract. And even as a 1099 contract CRA, sometimes in the contracts they will tell you, well, you're a contract, but you're full-time. Now, I'm sure they had plenty of lawyers look it over, but from the attorneys I've talked to, if you are not an employee, you cannot be dictated by the employer what you can and can't do as a contractor. Like the definition of a contractor is an independent contractor. You are working for yourself ultimately. So WK Santos, look through, if you're a W-2, look through your employment agreement. In the parentheses, you did say, if possible, with current job agreement. Now, the other thing you got to look into is, can you realistically do it? Because I'm guessing that your current CRA job's a full-time job. Those are not easy. Those are stressful jobs. And then to be a contract CRA on top of it, I would say yes, do it, but be smart about it. The contract CRA role I took, and I had to turn a lot down before I got this one, was I have a site visit every 6 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks, and I do very little, almost nothing in between those IMVs. So to me, somebody that has other businesses, other jobs, this works well with me for me. I've gotten plenty of contract offers where it was like basically a full-time role, but under the umbrella of a 1099 contract independent contractor agreement. I have to say no to those because I can't do that and do everything else I'm doing at the same time. So you got to make time when it's possible, but also be realistic to yourself about it. Brent Ellis, YouTube member. You see that logo by his name? That's a YouTube member. We got monthly Zoom masterminds just for the YouTube members. It's only $10 a month. Plus, you get weekly exclusive videos where I get into things like crypto, real estate. Lately, it's been a lot of real estate because myself and Chris were trying to buy an investment property in Dallas. And so you could see like behind the scenes of how we're identifying properties and things like that. Trying to make it a little bit different, but these monthly masterminds are where it's all at. I've made business partnerships with people in these YouTube memberships, right? Aditya, who I've interviewed on the show, is a data manager. We're making a data management academy, all because he's a YouTube member. And we started talking. So this is, and by the way, other YouTube members have made businesses with each other too. So it's a small group of Guru Nation. $10 a month, shameless plug. Brent says, I'm looking forward to your podcast with Tiffany Ashton. Will it be made available to your audience same day? Absolutely, Brent. As soon as I do it, we upload it. We rarely edit anything out. I can't remember in an interview the last time I edited anything out. The guests are always okay with being truthful, being transparent. The only time we edit things out is if there's technical issues, like somebody's lagging or somebody's dog barked. Maybe. What time do you have these meetings with the YouTube group? Ashley, Margot, you've been on a few of these. They're usually around 10 to 11 a.m. Pacific time. They're usually around that time. One day, usually it's on a Tuesday, but I've had them on Fridays. It's one day a month. I let people know a few days in advance with the Zoom info and everything. Ashley Margot would love to have you on there as well as a guest. This is our CRA Academy internship director, basically. She's teaching the interns. She's helping them with career development. And she's doing a lot of stuff also with our CRC Academy students too. So Ashley Margot, everybody go connect with her right now on LinkedIn. Naomi says missing club LICR. I love the avatar, Naomi, with the Latinos in Clinical Research shirt. Looks very good on you. Missing Clubhouse. You know what? Yeah, I don't go like host rooms anymore on Clubhouse. I think Twitter Spaces possibly is, and I'm going live on Twitter right now too. That's possibly a place where I like to listen more. And then LinkedIn, I think, is going to do something similar. I was actually on Clubhouse this weekend, not talking, listening. So there was a biotech room, and because of Lindsay Summers, the job recruiter who I've had on this show a few times, I follow her on Twitter, so I heard her tweeting about the room she was in. So I clicked on it, went to Clubhouse, and it was interesting. It was a bunch of biotech investors and biotech VCs talking about early stage biotechs. They were getting very technical as to how to approach VCs and venture capitalists. So I I think there's a place for Clubhouse. It's of course a lot of content rich information that requires a lot of time. Um, so I've been using Twitter Spaces more, and honestly, for Twitter Spaces, it's been mostly cryptocurrency related rooms. I'm not doing club. I do not miss hosting Clubhouse rooms anymore. I miss the connections we had with everybody, but I do not miss hosting those rooms. It's just a lot of work to host those rooms. A lot of work. Munir, looking to make a platform to make EDs easier. EDC? What do you mean? Oh, electronic diaries. Patient reported outcomes. Is there an application to be 21 CFR Part 11 compliant? You know what? Those are guidelines. You have to follow it. So 21 CFR Part 11, you got to go through it and read it. And just like GCP, they make it very vague on purpose. So there's actually 21 CFR Part 11 consultants, compliance auditors that will let you know. That's not me, but these people do exist. And so if you're serious about creating this patient reported outcome product, that's where I would go. Naomi says, awesome, I want to learn more about crypto. Naomi, follow me on Twitter, all right? And then I'll follow you back because I know you and you're cool. And when there's a room and I'm in it, I think I can ping you to be in it, or I'll like retweet that I'm in it so you can go. I use Twitter Spaces way more than Clubhouse. And I haven't hosted a room in Twitter Space. It's a lot of work to do that. Essential documents like regulatory stuff, like the stuff Monica and I were talking about in our live stream last week, right? You could make a business out of filing essential documents for sites. I would look at platforms that already exist, Munir, like Viva Vault, Viva Systems, and do that, right? Use their existing technology. Don't build your own. Use someone else's existing technology. They've already vetted it that it's 21 CFR Part 11 compliant. And what you're billing sites is your service of managing it. So you don't need to create the technology. That you're using an existing technology. At that point, you're like a consultant. Let's go through a few more of these. Monica, this mastermind group is nothing but the best for those who want to excel. It's an incubator of great businesses. Yeah, Monica's going to be on there tomorrow if she wants to as well. A few more. Angelica says, I'm watching your crash course. I took a break to watch your live. Excellent strategy, Angelica. You've got to get started, become a specialist, but as quickly as you can, be a generalist. This is why I always say small is the new big. The smaller the company, the quicker you'll be able to do that naturally. Thank you, Brobots. I appreciate it, guys. I got to run. I got another call I got to do, but I'll catch you guys all later. Stay tuned for the biotech video later today. It's not too late to join the YouTube members page. Go to my YouTube channel right now, $9.99 a month. Go there. Munir, this is like a podcast in and of itself. Everybody, subscribe, like, comment, share. Consider the YouTube memberships. Become a generalist. Network. I'll talk to you all later.